Hey everybody, it is August 2nd. I'm not looking too hot right now. I just got back from protesting and it was very, very hot today. Reflection of my protest today. Basically, I think it was pretty decent. I was only out there for about 2.5 hours, but I showed my presence, and I think that that's one thing I'm seeing, that people are receptive. Like, they're seeing me multiple times, and they see me consistently getting out there, yellow vesting, just sharing things. But one guy that really triggered me today, he was confused by what I had to say. And because of that, he immediately assumed, he goes, "Are you a paid protester?" And I said, "No." And I was like, usually people who are paid to protest are doing it to either incite violence or to legitimize a political party. I'm doing neither. So it's like, so you can't really justify your claims that I'm a paid protester if there's no proof of it. But anyway, so, I'm a bit disappointed in Americans. I'm disappointed in their lack of caring, their lack of effort. And there was this one guy that we had a lot in common, and I could see that he liked what I had to say, but he and that was the guy that thought that I was a paid protester. He asked me, and I know that that's a real thing, but you have to look at the facts around it. Clearly, I am not very rich. I have poor clothes. I have holes in my clothes, and I'm not ashamed of it. I don't care. I don't have much money to spend on new clothes, and I don't worry about that kind of stuff. But I know that I get judged for it. I know that people think, being overweight or being poor is somehow because I'm a less of a person, and that's just not reality. I don't think we should treat each other like that. And I know that when I'm out there and I'm giving a lot of statements that are hard to understand, especially when you're hearing this for the first time. And I try and think back of from 2016, when I was still supporting the establishment, and I was like, okay, we gotta fix it. We gotta fix this government. We gotta fix the DNC. We gotta reform it. We gotta beg for our rights. And now I'm like, we need to fight for our rights, but we don't need to be begging for it, because they're not going to give it to us, for one thing. So we have to understand that when I go out to protest, it's not just to go educate the public. It's not just to go stand on a curb and have abuse hurled at me. I'm not like some masochist. I do enjoy protesting because I get to say my beliefs and give people my research, but I'm not doing this for just the fun of it. I'm definitely not the best candidate for health. So it's not like I can just, it's not like I'm going to be able to keep doing this for the rest of my life. I'm probably going to die early, frankly, at the rate I'm going. I'm working really hard, and some days I just crash. I can't, like today, I have something wrong with my leg where it'll go numb, like nerve issues and in my back pain and my spine. And so I'll literally protest until I can't walk anymore. And sometimes I'll still stand out there and lean against something, or bring my chair. So I'm definitely not doing this for my health. But we all need to be getting out on the street, because I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to do this by myself. We have to get out there, whatever your issue, whether you like me personally or not, or you like how I speak, or how I communicate with people. It doesn't matter. If you either accept tyranny or you get out and fucking do something. And I think standing alone makes its own statement. When I go out there and I promote these things and I'm brave enough to do it by myself, I think that is inspiring. I do get lots of honks and lots of repeat people that I see in the area that know me and know who I am and what I'm about, and they, we start connecting the dots and talking about things, and they start inquiring. But we need to be doing this en masse, and there is validity to the fact that people are not going to take one protester seriously. They're not. I know that it's more likely that people are going to ignore me or think I'm a lone crazy person simply by not having the amount of people that we need to really be having in the street. And we don't have that yet. And there was this guy, he told me today, he said, yeah, he goes, the system's corrupt and I believe everything you're saying and I agree with you, but no, we're not going to get anybody to stop voting, so we're going to have to keep voting. And I was like, so you're basically telling me that you have no faith that anybody else in this country is going to have this evolution of the mind. You're basically saying you're a defeatist and that there is no hope. Because I was like, you're saying that your fellow Americans are so stupid that they're not going to realize that voting is a scam and they're going to continue doing it simply because they're idiots. That's what you're saying. And he's like, well, he goes, I kind of agree with you on that. He's like, that, and he was a little thrown back because he's like, he had no rebuttal for it. I was like, basically, you're saying that there is no hope. There's no point of standing up to the system because we're slaves, is what you're saying. And that, I think that made a lot of sense to him. He's like, well, he's like, really can't defend myself on that. And but then he's like, I'm gonna keep voting. And I was like, okay, well, and then we talked a little bit longer, and he said he's like next year, I forget what he said, sometime at a later date, he goes, I'm gonna have that other corner down there. And I said, well, that's my corner too, but you can come. And so I did have a few people join me today. One guy joined me that considered himself communist. I said, well, you do you. I'm not here to tell you what to be. I'm just here to voice my opinions. And I was like, you're welcome to come and browse through my signs and see if there's something that you like, or bring your own and take another corner over there, and let's show them what free speech looks like, because the use it or lose it policy does apply for free speech. We are losing it. Julian Assange is being persecuted not because he was throwing feces on the wall, not in the embassy, not because he raped a bunch of women. He didn't. Not because he stole DNC documents. He didn't do any of that. That's the mainstream media lying to you. He's being persecuted by the U.S. because he published documents. He had no part in stealing them. He's smart enough. He's smart enough to already know that. The question is, are we smart enough to research and know what we're talking about? Do I have enough information to say whether or not the masses can be woken up or not? I don't know. I'm not going to lie. I don't know if we can get enough people on board to become ungovernable before we run out of time. I don't know. And I can't make any promises, but I can say for a fact that there's enough people out there that we could, if they were mentally stable and ready enough to mobilize. I don't think we have enough information to just immediately declare that we're hopeless and that, we might as well not even try. That's not me. That's never been me. I've always been like somebody that's like, okay, here's the problem. The problem is that our government's owned by corporations and by people that have extreme wealth. And they invest money in political candidates to represent them and their agenda above people like me, the poor. And these people create anti-protesting laws, anti-human rights laws, anti-free speech laws that only put us more and more and more into this totalitarian system where we are smothered out. And that's why I really love Become Ungovernable and love the message, and the radio station as well just launched. And now we're launching strike actions. So please get involved in that. Please, if you need content to feel confident enough to go out and protest it and talk about these issues, ask me or ask Deb Della Piana, and we'll give you PDFs for almost anything that you probably need. Now, we don't have documents on everything, but things like Becoming Ungovernable, Obstruct the Vote, boycotts. If you need the content, I mean, I even have content of like Julian Assange, Bernie Sanders, DNC fraud lawsuit. I have stuff that I've made from past events, and I am more than happy to give it to you guys. That's all I care about. I just want us to be on the same page. And there's so many people who are uneducated, and they want to point the finger at everybody else and say, you're uneducated, or you're a commie, or you're da 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 da. You don't know me. So if you don't know me, don't talk about me. Okay? And I know that's going to happen the more that we question the establishment. We're going to have online trolls and, people in person too that come up to me and they don't know me and they think they do, and they think they're so fucking smart. And, you just have to, protest and let it go off, fly off your shoulder and brush it off. I get flipped off when I'm like protesting, just sitting there with a sign. Sometimes even like my sign, love, not hate, I get flipped off by it, or cussed at, or called fat or ugly. And they think that if you do that, they're going to dissuade you from protesting. And that's not me. So I really don't care what people call me. And I encourage everyone else to take that perspective as well. And I think when I'm holding a sign that says the mainstream media is lying to you, and I get a negative reaction to that, I'm thinking, I need to be here. I need to be in the street. I need to be here holding this message today, because this person, that person are upset at me for telling them the truth. So they need to hear more of it. So that only really encourages me to go out there and do it again. I protested yesterday and I got negative remarks and positive stuff too, but it really just encouraged me to work harder. And sometimes it'll make me like refine my message, but I encourage you guys to support the radio station, Become Ungovernable Radio, support our strikes, which is becomeungovernable.org. We are on Instagram, we are on Twitter, Obstruct the Vote. Obstruct the Vote's on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, and obstructthevote.org. I will put all these links below. Please check it out. And, as always, become ungovernable.